What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR Garage. My name is Justin, and today we are going back to stock on the BRZ just a little bit, don't worry. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the 2018 Solo National Championship and how things went. So the 2018 Solo National Championship was definitely one to remember, I guess, depending on which side of the coin you drew when it came to the weather conditions. Every time we go to Lincoln, Nebraska, we're always hoping that the weather stays good and dry, because Nebraska weather can be crazy at times, and thunderstorms, downpours like I've never seen anywhere else in the country. Maybe Texas has similar types of weather, but going into 2018 National Championships, I was hoping for a top 10 finish, preferably a top 5. I felt like if we had good conditions and I drove to my ability, we could arrive in the top 10. But the weather had different plans. The forecast for the week was looking wet from the outset. And when that happens, people have to prepare for not only wet conditions, but potentially drying conditions and that kind of thing. And you have to have a little bit of luck when it comes to conditions like this, because you just don't know when it's going to hit. And we'll get into the runs here in just a second. It looked like it was going to be pouring wet the entire day, and it turns out our heat, which was later in the afternoon, turned out to be wet with drying conditions. So that can be a good situation or a bad situation depending on where you are in the run group. And I've been on both sides of the run group in drying conditions, so you can either benefit from a drier course or not benefit by driving in the more wet of a course. So we'll jump into my runs. Cut to the chase, I didn't make the top 10 that I was hoping for. I drew the wet end of the course, and I just don't have the skills to drive fast in those slippery and wet conditions like some other drivers do. But we'll go ahead and jump into the runs, like I said, give you an idea of how things were. Second day turned out a little bit better, but we're gonna jump right into day one. So as we grid up for our heat, this is what things looked like. The rain was still coming down. We had puddles in our grid and on the course as well. And here's my car sitting in the grid, as you can see. Rain in the puddles, cloudy skies. It wasn't looking good, but miraculously it started drying out before we started driving. However, not quite dry enough. I was the fourth car out in the grid, and as you can see, I shift into second gear and there is no grip at all. Nice 180 in front of the crowd on my first run of the day. Felt pretty awesome about that, not really. And finishing up that first run was really hesitant, really slow and tentative, just wanted to get through the course without spinning out again. And that's basically how the first couple runs of the afternoon went for me. Now my third run of the afternoon was a little bit better for me, still wet in places, and like I mentioned earlier in the introduction, I just do not have the ability at this point to drive fast through the wet sections where the car still has a lot of grip left. I'm not able to drive it to its maximum potential. There are some better drivers out there that definitely can get the most out of the car. I am not one of them at this point. And keep in mind, others in the class had to deal with these same conditions, if not worse, although few had it worse than I did, because like I said, I was the fourth car off. And with 46 or so cars in the class, you can imagine as each run went by, the course was getting drier and drier and faster, literally seconds faster for the people that were towards the end of the running group. But like I said, it's one of those coin flip things. I've been in the opposite position where I've gotten dry runs where others were stuck in the wet, and sometimes that's just how it goes. That's racing, and luck does come into it at some point or another. So as we're finishing up the run, I'm still kind of slipping and sliding around there, and this slalom section was really wet again for me, really slow, really hesitant, and just did not want to spin the car again. Now moving into our day 2 run, I think at this point I was in 25th out of the 46 drivers, maybe 27th, I can't remember. I ended up bumping up into the 19th overall position at the end of the event. I put down the 9th fastest time of the day on this particular run right here, despite making a number of mistakes where I was too far off the cones and adding distance, which costs you a lot of time, especially on a course like this that had a lot of big turnarounds like that. And the course was very, very long, close to 70 seconds. I think I was a 69 flat for my time. So despite the rough day on day one, I was pretty happy with how I finished, finishing strong with that 9th fastest time overall. Now, switching gears for just a minute, there's an old saying in autocross that goes, you can't win on the first day, but you can certainly lose on the first day. And those drivers that put themselves in a good position on the first day were poised to fight for the win on day 2. One of those was my friend James, who is also a viewer of the YouTube channel. He went into day 2 in 4th position and threw down on day 2, I believe putting down the 2nd fastest time, and came away with the win for 2018 for the STX class. And the best part about this was his dad was there to see it all happen. That was really cool. Congrats, James, on the win. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for the 2018 Solo National Championships. We're going to keep working harder at getting faster and hope for a better result next year in 2019. As for the car behind me, we're going back to stock just with the seats, maybe a couple other things just to make things a little bit more comfortable. During the off season and during the winter, I do like my heated seats on the stock BRZ seats. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, everybody. We do have a few upgrades and modifications coming to the car again during the off season here. Nothing too drastic. It definitely won't be like last year where we were doing another set of WEDS wheels, the OS Geek and diff, the MCS suspension, sway bars, and a few other big ticket items. This year will be a little bit more low key. I think the car is just about where I like it, and there's really not a whole lot left to do. So stick around for more videos coming up real soon, everybody. Thank you all for watching. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them down below. Like always, I love to hear from you. Stay fast out there. I am checking out, and we'll talk to you all next time.